What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be checking out SCP-3456, the Orcadian Horseman. Now, this is another Keter. We've been doing a lot of Keter lately. We got to switch it up, man. I swear, after this video, we're not doing another Keter. We're going to switch it up. But shouts out to the Vulcan. The Vulcan created this video. All of his links will be in the description down below. You guys already know we love the Vulcan's videos. Head over there, show him as much love as possible. Hit the like button for me, hit the like button for him. I would truly appreciate it. Let's jump into it. Here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Off rip, that thing is terrifying.
Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP.
This thing is attached to the horse. At first glance, I thought he was riding the horse, like kind of like the Headless Horseman or something like that. But no, it's attached to the horse, and it kind of looks like the horse is its penis. In a way, that's weird. That looks really terrifying.
56
and funny.
Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-3456 is currently uncontained. All attempts to contain or neutralize it have failed. Research into methods for containment are ongoing. Personnel who observe the entity are to be treated with Class G amnestics and must be located with at least one freshwater stream, river, or lake within 1 kilometer of the treatment facility.
That is so specific. What does the fresh water do to those patients?
All historical references to SCP-3456 are to be removed and or attributed to myth, shell shock, PTSD, and hysteria. Reports regarding loss of life and damage as a result of SCP-3456 incidents should be scrubbed of all references to the anomaly and replaced with narratives involving military conflict, natural or man-made disasters.
Oh, they don't want anyone knowing about this thing.
Regions in which SCP-3456 are likely to appear are to be monitored regularly. Personnel are to be deployed to aid evacuation efforts in the event of an incident. Direct observation of SCP-3456 should be avoided. Description: SCP-3456 are a group of quadrupeds resembling horses and other equines.
Wait, what? There's a group of them? There's multiple of these things? These creepy things? Ain't no way!
Individual instances deviate significantly from other equines, particularly due to the lack of hair, presence of three-toed hooves, thick translucent skin, and either single or multiple human torsos fused to its back in addition to the normal equine head attached to the horse's body. Each torso has a pair of arms and a head attached, where the arm span reaches twice the height of the entity itself.
Jesus.
And end in 5 sharpened, protruding bone digits in place of human fingers.
I see that.
In most instances, SCP-3456 possesses a hole where a human nose is normally located.
Kind of like a jack-o'-lantern.
And is capable of emitting high-pitched screams up to 110 decibels in intensity.
That's very loud.
The size of each SCP-3456 instance varies, with the largest recorded manifestation reaching 30 meters in height and 15 meters in length.
That's the largest one? So what's the smallest one then? Because that's huge.
SCP-3456 instances thus far have proven to be impervious to conventional weapons.
So there's no killing this thing.
Instances materialize near the sites of war, terrorist attacks, and natural disasters.
So I've heard something kind of similar to this, where people have said that they've seen horsemen after bad things have happened, like natural disasters, terrorist attacks, war, things like what they're saying here. So that's interesting. I wonder if that's where they got the idea of making this SCP.
Multiple manifestations may occur depending on the scale of the event, as indicated by the entity's materialization during numerous historical events throughout the 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries. SCP-3456 instances display high levels of adaptive intelligence during incidents, often engineering situations to trap or torture their targets.
So they're very smart.
It is currently theorized that SCP-3456 may be sapient.
Seems like it.
Direct observation of SCP-3456 by an individual will result in the entity becoming aware of the observer, at which point it will display directional awareness of said individuals at all times.
Why are most SCPs like this, where if you see the thing, you die or it stalks you? None of these things ever like to be looked at.
SCP-3456 manifestations are known to engage in predatory and stalking behavior, utilizing the environment to conceal and camouflage themselves.
Well, that big one ain't hiding, I'll tell you that. The largest one ever recorded, that thing ain't hiding. But I could see it possibly camouflaging, but yeah, these things are massive. So I guess the smallest one could hide somewhere, but I don't know how small the smallest one is.
Survivors of such behavior report that the entity will manipulate and follow its targets, pursuing them well beyond the site of initial manifestation. See Incident Log I-3456-32. SCP-3456 will continue such behaviors, deliberately exposing itself to as many individuals as possible until it has captured a large number of individuals, at which point it will dematerialize.
Where does it take these people?
What happens to subjects taken by SCP-3456 is currently not known.
Oh, okay.
Should SCP-3456 be incapable of collecting a sufficient number of subjects, it will continually materialize near individuals who have observed it before until it is able to capture them.
Oh my god, imagine getting away from this thing and it comes back to get you later on in the future. Oh.
SCP-3456 is either unwilling to cross or incapable of crossing bodies of fresh water. This was initially discovered by...
Oh, interesting. So that's why it said that anybody that has observed this entity needs to live close to a freshwater stream or river.
Foundation plants within Basra, Iraq, during Operation Iraqi Freedom. Foundation agents were forced into rapid retreat across the Tigris River by 3 SCP-3456 manifestations, at which time they discovered that the instances either could not or would not set foot onto the bridge. How and why SCP-3456 is unable to cross such geographic boundaries is currently unknown.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense.
The following section contains journal entries from Dave Harkand, an infantryman from the British Expeditionary Force during World War I. This journal describes several SCP-3456 sightings over the course of the Battle of the Somme. These journal entries will be converted into audio files by ACID.
June 27th, 1916. Finally arrived at the front. Picked up this little journal while I was in Paris. Figured I might as well keep record of my heroics on the battlefield. Quite chuffed to finally be in action, though it seems I'm the only one. Most of these blokes have been fighting for a couple of months now, and they look downright dreadful. Mud all over the uniform, and their faces are so pale. Looks like they haven't eaten or slept for months. Commanding officer is rather shit-hot for battle. It's quite admirable. July 2nd, 1916. Woke in the early hours of the morning. The ground was shaking. Damn near shook me out onto the muck on the dugout floor. Poor blokes in the bunks on the other side looked like they'd seen a ghoul. Pair of Northern Irish lads from the Kitchener's armies, if I remember right. Kept muttering about a nuckety. Must be some big thing. Were both gripping a gold crucifix. Was about to lay my head back down and get a wink of shut-eye when I ended up scrambling into the mud. Loudest damn thing I'd ever heard. Thought it was the Hun artillery about to mark us with a whiz-bang. Only problem was, never did get the bang. This morning, asked our brass about the artillery barrage. He gave me a funny look and asked what the bloody hell I was talking about.
Oh my god.
July 2nd, 1916. We went looking for the dud that must have come down last night. Didn't find it, but found something even the Armin Waller probably can't explain. Strangest looking crater I've ever seen. It was shaped like a giant hoof.
What?
July 3rd, 1916. Huns made a push today. First time they've moved in our region. First time I'd ever seen combat. It's not romantic and adventurous. It's terrifying. and deadly. My hands can't stop shaking. Already messed up the chit once. The Huns had our outfit up against a wall, damn near overran us. Didn't help that it rained the night before, making our foxhole fill to the brim with muck. One of the Fritz came right at me. I put one right between his eyes. Fell right at the edge over the trench. Had to look him in the eyes. Poor lad couldn't have been more than 17 or 18. Martin, one of those Irish
That's unfortunate.
is gone. Was unlike anything I'd ever seen. One moment he's standing shooting at the Huns. All of a sudden, the mud starts boiling. Before anyone can react, mud just flies everywhere.
What?
Everyone else is suddenly knocked down off their feet. I look up. The wanker's just gone.
Just swooped him up!
Left. Haven't told anyone, but I'd swear that there was bones coming up from underneath him, right before the mud went flying.
Holy!
His mate, Brendan, was digging in the mud for hours, looking for the crucifix. July
Jeez.
14th and 15th, 1916. Huns tried to push
Maybe these things really take you to hell.
back this morning in the rain. I was in the machine gun nest with Brendan, the other Irish chap in my unit. They kept coming and getting stuck in the mud, and I just kept shooting. Sun is rising. I'm on watch till 8. At least, that's what the brass hat said. I've started losing track of how much time's been passing. There's something out there. Something lurking out in the mud and the dead Huns. Nearly dozed off last night, listening to the moans of the bloody wounded stuck out in no man's land. Poor bastards got left behind. Saw something out of the edge of my vision. Something big. Couldn't quite make it out. It was much darker than usual.
Get out of there.
The sky was obscuring the full moon. Heard a couple of screams, but whatever it was gone before my flare hit the sky. July 30th, 1916. I've been seeing them at the edge of my vision ever since that first night. They're huge, but they move so damn fast that they're gone before I can get a clear look. Or at least, that's how it was mucking out until today. Thick fog and mist rolled in this morning.
Okay, it's already terrifying enough that these things are huge. They're gigantic, but they're also fast? Like, what can you do about that?
Blanketed everything. We figured the Huns might use it to launch another push. Bastards have been pushing non-stop since the 20th. Saw it through the fog. Looked like a shadow hiding in the mist. Some sort of horse-like creature with something dragging along the ground and a giant lump where the rider would sit. Except the lump started moving. I sworn it was a person. Or something that looked like a person. Sat up, and things dragging along the ground, reached out in front of it, and picked up something. Thought it was a couple dead Jerrys, until they started squirming. I'll never forget the noise it made. Louder than a banshee. Shrill. And twisted.
Oh, you screwed up.
Right at me. 2 pairs of red glowing orbs.
He's dead.
Brendan calls them Nucklavies. Won't tell me much more than that. Beginning to understand why all these blokes looked so terrified when I first arrived. August 13th. Bloody hell. Bloody hell, they're nightmares. Been on watch 2 nights in a row. One just appeared right there, right in front of me. 20 feet. Had to be at least 20 feet away. Towered into the sky. Got my flare to go off in time to see it pick up a couple of wounded Jerrys in the mud. They don't have bloody skin.
So is that why they come around when it's like war or natural disasters and stuff? Because there's a lot of vulnerable people. A lot of people are injured. A lot of people are hurt. And these things are drawn to that?
There's just muscle.
I mean, they are easy targets.
The thing on its back, it wasn't human. There's no way it could be human. Had no skin either. No legs. Just merged straight into the horse at the stomach. I took
Yeah.
a couple of shots at it with my rifle.
You shot at it?
Nothing. Like I was shooting it with a slingshot. It stopped soon as my flare reached its highest point, and turned. Looked straight down at me. Both the horse and the thing on its back. It smiled.
It smiled at you?
August 17th, 1916.
Just take me.
Then aside
Just capture me at that point.
4 nights straight. Tried to tell the brass hat about the knuckle-lavies. Didn't believe me. Said it was the shell shock playing with my head.
No, it's not.
Put a sock in it and keep on. It kept coming back. Every night, same spot, 20 feet from me. Picks up wounded Jerry's, turns and looks, and it's gone. It's playing with me. I'm sure of it.
You're gonna run into its trap.
Last night there was another one too. 4 of those things on its back. They're the same damn thing. 7 a.m. August 20th, 1916. Jerry's made a big pushback yesterday. Rained 2 days ago, all day, so the muck was deep. We were on machine gun again in the pillbox. So many of them in no man's land last night. Couldn't tell the dead from the living. Haven't slept in 6 days. There were 5 tonight. 3 of them had more than one of those things on their back. The one that keeps coming back dropped something. Saw it shine in the flare light.
Oh, is that the trap?
10
That's the
a.m.
trap. He's gonna go and...
1916. Went out into the mud where it appears every night. Found Martin's crucifix and tin hat.
leave it.
August 20th, 1916. They're getting bold. Saw one out in broad daylight. Pretty sure it was the same one. Buried itself in the mud, just lying there, waiting. They're going over the top of 3. There are more out there now. All doing the same thing.
Oh my god.
God help us.
Official records show that David Harkin was declared missing in action on August 20th following a failed British counterattack against the German trenches. Additional queries have revealed that one Brendan O'Malley, within the same unit, was also reported missing in action on the same date. Harkin's journal was found 20 feet from the edge of the German trenches 2 months after he disappeared.
God, 20 feet. 20 feet. That was the key right there. 20 feet.
Incident log I-3456-32. The following incident.
It was telling him, it was like, I'm going to get you 20 feet. 20 feet away from the German trenches. I got you. You and me, bet. Like, that thing knew exactly what it was going to do to him.
Incident details an SCP-3456 manifestation in Fukushima, Japan, following the 2011 earthquake. Several Foundation reconnaissance teams were deployed following the evacuation of the city to assess whether or not the earthquake had been caused by an anomaly. SCP-3456 manifested in several locations during and shortly after the quake, resulting in 2,562 missing persons. Foundation reconnaissance personnel were not expected to encounter SCP-3456, as manifestation had ceased in the prohibited zone 64 hours after the majority of the civilian population was evacuated. Incident log I-3456-32, playing log now.
Forward. Reconnaissance teams were deployed in squads of 4, with 1 member of each team possessing helmet-mounted camera equipment. The following log details the events surrounding Squad 3. 3 of the 8 teams were noted to have encountered SCP-3456, however, the cameras for Squads 1 and 6 were destroyed early during interaction with SCP-3456 entities.
Well, shoot.
This is an audio feed between Squad 3 and Command. Other members of the squad were not subject to audio communications between Commander Bryans and the communications officer. Begin log.
The helmet-mounted camera is switched on as the reconnaissance squad departs the helicopter transport. The street depicted both in front and behind the unit as the camera swerves with the operative's head is noted to have sustained significant structural damage, with many visible points where the concrete has buckled or split apart.
This is Reconnaissance Squad 3, Orange Leader. Command, do you read? We read you, Orange Leader.
The feed turns to the left and the right, noting two other individuals, each equipped with standard field agent equipment.
Mic check. Lopez reporting. Check, check. Is this thing working? Reading you loud and clear, Commander.
Bryans is seen pointing at the screen.
Command, is the camera and Briar's helmet transmitting? We're getting clear transmissions from the camera. Navigation is sending you coordinates. Agents Lopez and Chow have been provided count counters. Remember, any deviation from the norm is grounds for further investigation. Should you encounter an anomaly, radio its location and containment teams will be deployed.
Good luck with that.
Under no circumstances is your squad to engage an anomaly. From this point forward, communications with Command will be directed to you. Roger, Command.
Good luck not engaging with them.
Tilts slightly downward, pointing at a square device on Agent Byers' wrist.
Okay. Our target is 3 clicks south. We'll have to move across the Arakawa River here. Chow, Lopez, I want those count counters counting.
Don't cross the river.
The moment those levels look weird, you say something. Got it? Yes, sir. Got it. Briars, you stick close to me.
For the next 10 minutes, Squad 3 moves through 5 blocks of damaged buildings and roadways, with no signs of anomalous activity.
Hey, boss. My counter just got a huge spike. I was about to say. My needle went all the way into the red for about 3 seconds.
Bryans holds his hand up to stop. The reconnaissance members stop in the street. Byers moves slowly in a 360-degree arc as he attempts to locate the source of the elevated Hume readings.
Command, you got all that, right? We got it, Orange Leader. We're not picking up anything on the visual or...
At this point, Command noted the presence of a dull, rhythmic thumping noise. Intensity of the thumps indicated a distance of roughly 300 meters between the source of the disturbance and the camera's microphone.
Uh-oh.
Command, please hold your position, Orange Leader. Boss, do you hear that?
The sound is noted to have grown slightly louder and decreased in distance from 300 to 250 meters away.
It's coming towards them.
Sounds like a horse walking on a pavement.
Oh no!
The camera begins another 360-degree arc as Agent Byers scans the surrounding environment. The noise abruptly ends after 2 minutes of continuous increase in intensity.
Nope.
A crash is heard, and the camera swivels 180 degrees. Lopez's count counter can be seen on the pavement, glass shattered.
Holy shit. Commander? Command. We might have a problem.
We have a huge problem.
The camera pans up from the count counter on the ground and captures SCP-3456, standing in an intersection 200 meters away. The camera zooms in on the entity, and Command notes the translucent skin and fused human torso in the middle of the horse's back. The torso appears to remain limp and motionless for approximately 30 seconds.
That's good that they can capture this thing on camera. A good thing it's not like SCP-96 where you can't see it on a video feed or anything like that, because that would be horrible.
Command, I believe we have identified the entity responsible for the quake. Negative, Orange Leader. SCP-3456 is not responsible for the earthquake. O'Donnell, we have an SCP-3456 manifestation. What? That's 3456. What is it doing here?
The torso begins to move, slowly straightening into an upright position. Its arms begin swinging, damaging or destroying several structures around it, and drawing Brian's attention.
Orange Leader,
It's about to take somebody else.
authorize the UAV drone strike. Move your team out of the street and into the high-rise 2 buildings to your left. Roger, Command.
The camera focuses on Brian for another 5 seconds as he turns to address the squad before focusing on the entity. SCP-3456 has stopped moving its arms. The entity turns towards the reconnaissance team. It emits a loud vocalization for approximately 5 seconds.
Orange Leader, get your team out of there. It's seen you.
Bryans points to the side street, and the camera swivels in that direction, bringing a large high-rise into frame.
Alright, everybody move. Now.
The
Was
camera
that it
begins to
screaming?
shake as it tilts down, as Bryans briefly looks at the ground, before returning to a level view. The feed swivels to the left briefly and captures the approaching UAV drone, before swiveling to the right. The entity can be seen charging towards the squad, appendages reaching towards the screen. The UAV drone is seen as a blur by the camera, and there is an explosion as the entity emits a wail and disappears beneath a cloud of smoke.
Well,
Will that kill it, Reggie? No, George. It only slows it down.
oh jeez.
The squad enters
Thanks.
the high-rise and begins climbing the stairs. The camera stops shaking as the squad stops on the 8th floor of the building.
Reggie, why the hell is it here?
An argument can be heard between the communications officer and the head of reconnaissance. The screen begins vibrating excessively, and the sound of SCP-3456 approaching the building can be heard. Bryans is seen directing the squad members to the door of a large utility closet. As Byers closes the door behind them, the video feed displays a shadow blocking out the light of the
Oh
window.
jeez.
The camera is switched temporarily to night vision by Byers. The camera vibrates 4 more times before the sound of SCP-3456 approaching stops. The entity can be heard breathing heavily outside the window.
Reggie. Come in, Reggie.
The previously mentioned argument can still be heard.
God damn it. I wish we had a way to see what that thing is doing out there. We do have a camera. I'm not sticking my head outside that door.
Don't do it.
Hey, this is a utility closet, right? Yeah. Byers. Is there a broom in here?
Whoa.
Yeah, right next to you.
What are you gonna do with that?
Toss me your helmet.
Oh, I see what he's gonna do with that.
Wobbles and is inverted as Agent Byers removes his helmet and hands it to Agent Chow. The camera shakes several times.
Why do this?
The click of a flashlight and the sound of tape being torn can be heard. The feed stops shaking and there is a tapping noise.
Ah, good. This should let us see what's going on. You've got your remote display on, right? We'll be able to see what it's doing out there. Good thinking, Chow. Whatever it is, I hope it's right off. Innovative, as always.
Or it could give away your location, and that wouldn't be good.
The feed wobbles back and forth, and the sound of the closet door creaking open can be heard. Night vision is disabled as the lens begins detecting light coming through the window. The entity's hands grip the side of the windows, and its face comes into frame from the left. Its eyes move back and forth several times. The entity breathes out briefly, fogging the lens of the camera.
Oh,
It
jeez.
emits a vocalization, causing the camera to drop to the floor. The door is heard slamming shut with the force of the vocalization.
Yep, just stay in there.
He lingers in the window for a moment before releasing the sides and disappearing from view. SCP-3456's shadow begins moving away from the building and out of the frame. The camera shakes and is slowly pulled back into the utility closet.
I guess
The camera
it
shakes
worked.
for 60 seconds before it is handed back to Agent Byers. 3 minutes pass before SCP-3456 can no longer be heard.
Good work, boys.
The other 3 squad members appear visibly shaken by the preceding events.
I don't blame them.
Orange Leader, is your squad still intact? Reggie, what the hell is going on? You and
Good question.
2 of the other squads have encountered SCP-3456. It wasn't supposed to be here. Supposed to be? The hell was Command think it'd send on us in without confirmation? George, this line is being monitored. I don't give a damn. You put me and my team in a hot zone with a hostile entity that isn't supposed to be here. I need to inform them. You can't do that, Orange Leader. The security clearance be damned. We just stared a demon in the face. You think I give a about bureaucratic procedures right now?
I love Brian's. He gets the badass award right now. He is amazing. I agree with him.
10 seconds of radio silence pass.
You can't tell them what it is. God damn it, Reggie. You can tell them what it doesn't like.
5 seconds of silence.
Are you talking about fresh water?
15 seconds of silence.
That's helpful, Reggie. What are we supposed to do? Splash a bottle of water on it and watch it melt? George, if you get to the bridge over the Arakawa, you won't be able to follow.
Brian looks down at the display device on his wrist, which lights up.
Reggie, the crossing is still 1.5 clicks away. We'll never make it there. Give me a second.
30 seconds pass in silence. Brian's display lights up again, followed by those of the other 3 squad members. The video feed tilts down.
Your original route took you across the Arakawa, upstream at a narrow point. I've rerouted you to a closer crossing, at the river's widest point. It's about 1 kilometer out, and should take about 15 minutes if you use buildings for cover. The Hello is already en route.
Good luck with that.
What's the status of the 2 other teams? What can I do? We've lost contact.
And looks at each member of the group before facing Byers.
Andrew, I need you to poke your head out the door. Make sure that thing isn't out there.
Perspective shifts slightly as Byers looks out the closet door. SCP-3456 is not seen.
They're good for now.
All clear, sir. Okay, so here's the deal, folks. We got something out there that isn't supposed to be here. Command has our evac en route, but we need to get over the Arakawa for them to do that. Any particular reason for that? Why can't they just pick us up here? You saw what it can do. Command doesn't want to risk a chopper getting knocked out of the sky. That thing can't cross fresh water. The widest point of the river is 1 kilometer south. We stick to the shadows and move fast and quiet. That's all you need to know for now.
Why do they care about a chopper in this instance? Like, who cares? Get us out of here, man. I don't care if the chopper goes down or not. Like, I need some help. Get us the most reliable help we can get.
Getting the signal to move out. The squad spends the next 15 minutes moving between different buildings.
It seems like they're going to make it, though.
Approximately 50 yards from the bridge, a few meters from a large intersection. The frame pans from left to right in a 360-degree arc as Byers surveys the surrounding buildings. There is no sign of SCP-3456.
They're about to get scooped up. It's over.
We're 50 yards from the bridge. No sign of the entity. The Hello should be on the bridge. Can you see it?
Byers turns to the front, and the camera zooms in, capturing a CH-47 Chinook helicopter on the bridge.
Roger, Command. We see it. Sweet Mary, Mother of Jesus, we're saved.
I wouldn't speak too soon.
But stops. The camera experiences several severe vibrations, and a ticking noise begins as Chow's camp counter buzzes in alarm.
It's coming. It's on its way.
SCP-3456 emerges from the street to their left, 5 meters ahead, and turns so that it directly faces the reconnaissance squad. The torso leans down.
It knew what they were doing.
And both the horse and the human torso emit a vocalization. From the bridge, small arms fire can be heard and seen colliding with the entity's skin. 2 RPGs collide with the entity along its neck to no effect.
Son of a bitch was waiting for us.
Yeah, he was. It was a trap.
Down to Brian's, who pulls 2 canisters from his belt. Stun grenades.
We run!
Brian's flips the pin on the grenades and looks back to the squad.
Shield your eyes! Hey, ugly!
Brian's throws the grenades into the air and begins running forwards. Byers looks down to avoid the flash. There is a bang, and the entity is heard wailing. Byers looks back up.
Did it work?
As in Brian's can be seen in front. They've nearly reached the bridge.
Oh, man.
The camera turns slightly to the left
and Chow can be seen running alongside.
My anxiety is so high right now.
The feed suddenly spins. Byers is level with the ground and begins sliding backwards. The camera lifts up, and Byers can be heard screaming. Perspective tilts up and shows the entity's hand wrapped around Byers' left leg. Byers' head tilts back to a more level angle, depicting his ascent into the air as he continues screaming. The camera stops moving up and focuses on SCP-3456's face, at which time it is noted to be smiling. The lens attempts to focus on something embedded within the entity's forehead and zooms in. A golden crucifix and a World War I British infantry helmet can be seen before the camera terminates.
Oh my god!
End log. Postword.
It's the same one from the last story.
That SCP-3456 demanifested at the termination of the video feed. Agents Andrew Byers and Laozon Chow have been declared missing and remain unaccounted for.
Rest in peace. That's all I can say about that. Rest in peace. We don't know where the heck they are.
Interesting thing to note, the people that survived that log that you all just listened to, probably not even the scariest thing they've seen in Japan. Some of the stuff over there is insane. But
is there other SCPs over there?
I think that about does it for today. Thank you all for listening, if indeed you still are, and you were all dismissed. Goodbye.
All right. Well, this one was kind of terrifying, knowing that there's a big giant horseman creature stalking people in the middle of a war, natural disaster, terrorist attack. I mean, think of all the things that we've had in our lifetime. We've had 9/11, we've had COVID, we've had tons of earthquakes and tsunamis and wildfires, because I live in California, so wildfires. I can imagine I probably would have seen one of these things. I probably would have got swooped up. You know what I mean? I've been in tornadoes, I've been in wildfires, I've been in the middle of a lot of different things. Things that I know this thing would have appeared. I probably would have seen it. And it's just terrifying to think that. You know what I mean? This made me think back to like those videos that I watch on YouTube where, you know, where it's like this freak thing where someone disappears and you just don't know what happened to them. The police don't know, their friends don't know, the family doesn't know, nobody knows, they're just gone. How do people just disappear like in thin air? Nobody knows where they're at. And when you read something like this, or you listen to something like this, you think to yourself, is there things like that out there? Well, not necessarily like this, but you know what I mean? Is there something unexplained happening that we aren't aware of, that maybe the government is, or researchers, or there's a team out there that knows of situations where people are getting picked up by aliens or etc. It's interesting, man. And I think that's what made me kind of terrified in this video, because I was just like, this hits too close to home. And this makes me think that there's some Orcadian horsemen out there capturing people in situations, not just in war or terrorist attacks and natural disasters, but just in general. With that being said, the Vulcan did amazing with the voice work on this one. He is so believable. Like, he could take on any voice and I'd be like, oh, that's somebody else. That's not the Vulcan. And somebody would be like, no, that's definitely the Vulcan. I'd be like, oh. So my hat goes off to him for creating this video and doing the voice work for it. He's amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Comment down below your thoughts and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys next time.
Hope will never die.